Welcome back, people, to the Hero Whispers. It is my pleasure to be with you here this evening. Your host, Jean Marie, for Supergirls. That's 2 L's, second L for love, and the Hero Whispers, our podcast. Supergirls is a platform created to empower and inspire young women launching from college to life. We help provide them with the tools they need to navigate the afterlife. We mentor, we help them with job stuff, we help them with life stuff. And on the Hero Whispers podcast, we interview amazing young women that are either in college or shortly out a few years to talk to them about their story and what they're doing, amazing things they're doing in this world, because we need to get their voices heard and we need to empower women all over the world. So that being said, tonight we have the pleasure of Miss Samantha DURAND. She is a young woman I met actually at a networking event in NYC, a very powerful young woman, I might add. She is super impressive. She goes after what she wants. Her bio is the following. As a graduate from Emerson College, Samantha has taken New York City by storm. In 2017, she moved from a small town in Mass to the big city after she got a job as an event coordinator at Google. With no friends or family nearby, she forged her path and found a way to make a life and a career for herself. 2 years later, she is a marketing specialist at Premion, a marketing tech OTT solution, and has found her place in the concrete jungle. With a lot of work and even more help, she has been able to build a life for herself at 24, and that's only the beginning of her story. Samantha, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
I loved it. I love meeting you. You're a total power woman already at 24. I love you. You have so much energy. And listeners, Samantha was really integral part of helping us launch our first live event at Stockton University a few weeks ago. So I want to give a shout out to her and thank you so much, Samantha, for all the help that you gave us, because it was an amazing show there, live in person. So thanks for your help. And
Absolutely.
yeah, I'm so happy that you're here and that you came to tell your story, because you have a lot to say, girl.
Yes, I do.
So let's hear about your big dreams. I mean, you embraced your vision, you came to New York City, and how did you make this happen, not knowing anyone? What did you do?
Absolutely. So it all really started back in college. I worked my butt off trying to get good grades and really study hard and really take all the knowledge that my professors were sharing with me and trying to find ways to apply them to the real world. And so through that, I did a few internships in college that really helped me kind of get my footing and figure out what I really wanted to do. So at the time, I was really focusing on event planning, and it was January before I graduated, and I was doing a lot of informational interviewing, and I had an internship. And so I was really just trying to find where my place was going to be when I graduated. And unfortunately, because of networking, I was able to get in touch with the lead event coordinator, or manager at Google. And I just had an informational interview with her. That was it. We chatted for about an hour, and I got to pick her brain about her job and what she did and all the cool events she was putting on, and, how she got to where she was. And, I really just took the time to get to know her and get to know her story. So then, I was able to take that away with me and figure out how to start my own path, start on my own path. Well, it turns out, because of that informational interview, she offered to, put my resume out to her contacts and her network and kind of help me get some feelers out there, which was super beneficial. But, time goes on, and I hadn't graduated yet. So time went on, and I actually graduated and didn't have a job right away. And I worked at the golf course for a few months as the reception pro shop girl. And, didn't feel
Nice.
fulfilling, but yeah, I mean, it paid the bills.
Yeah,
so
it's fun.
I was still living at home in Massachusetts, and, still applying for jobs and wasn't really getting anywhere. So then I reached out back out to this woman and just asked if she heard of anything through her grapevine. And that's when the opportunity at Google came about. There was a coordinator spot on their team in New York for a freelance position. And, I was like, oh, I'm not sure about that. I don't know if I can move to New York and freelance. And she's like, well, it's full time and, it's a contracted position. So I, from there, interviewed and I was offered the position and kind of blindly took a leap of faith and just went for it and moved to New York. And a month later, after I got the job, I started and I've been here ever since.
I mean, okay, first of all, the way you went about it is so smart. I mean, you did the informational interview. A lot of people don't know how to do that. They don't understand how to navigate that. So I'm really happy that you kind of like walk through that for our guests, because it's such a crucial thing to understand what that is. Everyone thinks you just go and ask for a job. No, that's the perfect way to get to know people. So thank you for that. And also, let's talk about, hello, Google. Thank you. Like, one of the best companies out there. And you just would not, you just would not let it go. So it's all about the persistence that you had and the consistency of like always like following up. And that's like super cool that you did that. And the other thing that I love is that you didn't have a job after graduation, because it doesn't mean that like you're dead. Like you don't have to completely stress over the fact that, oh shit, I don't have it all figured out. Like, it all worked out, right? Like, it was like all aligned.
Absolutely. And you know what? I mean, I have made it pretty far in the last 2 years, but I still don't have it figured out. And that's okay. That's the beauty of being young and finding your path, is you kind of figure it out as you go.
Totally. I mean, and you can do that. You can try so many things and kind of get a feel for what you really want and what you really love and like what kind of makes you tick. So on that note, let's talk about you. So you went from Google, and I'm sure you had a great experience there, and then you moved to this new company, or was there something in between?
So I had a 1.5 year contract with Google, working, just as an event coordinator, and that was amazing. Such an amazing opportunity. But then that contract ended in January of 2019, so this year. And I was in between jobs for a couple of months. So I didn't start my new role at the company I'm at now until about March. And so in the meantime, I actually freelanced with Viacom and did some event coordinating and production assistant work there, which was also really great. So that kept me afloat for a little bit until I was able to get full-time work again.
Well, yeah, because it's a great way to meet people, right?
Absolutely.
It's a networking opportunity. And you had you had the knowledge and the ability and the know-how to find freelance work. I mean, that's not an easy thing to do either. So
no, absolutely not. And again, it was through networking that I was able to find that opportunity.
So, like, how did you get to be such a great networker already? Were there any women that inspired you? Were there mentors, during college or in your life that helped you along that path? Or is it like a natural thing that just comes to you?
So definitely not a natural thing. I'm definitely more introverted than extroverted. I can be extroverted and very chatty when I need to be, but ideally I'm not the type of person to approach people. So it all started back in college. I went to my career center and they taught me about informational interviewing. They had resources that they shared with me about the questions to ask, the way to reach out to people. And I was able to make appointments with them pretty regularly to kind of go over how to approach that. But then from there, I really kind of worked with what I had at the time and worked from there. So I started with friends, I started with family, I started with my professors, and kind of asked around. I shared with them what I was looking to do and what I was passionate about, and asked if they just knew anybody I could talk to and kind of learn more about what they did professionally and how they got there. And through friends and family, I was then able to, and professors, I was able to then get outside my network and meet professionals in the industries I was interested in to learn more about it. And because, they were connections through people I already knew, it made it a little bit more of a comfortable situation. But with that being said, too, I also worked really hard to get out of my comfort zone, and I went to professional networking events I was in Boston at the time. So I went out of my way by myself, and I went to professional networking events in Boston and kind of just walked up and introduced myself to people and tried to start conversations. And for me, that was super challenging because I get really nervous doing that and walking up to people and just saying hello. But it was a really good skill for me to learn and really good for me to get outside my comfort zone because, after college, you constantly have to be pushing your boundaries to do better in, whatever industry you're pursuing. So it's always a good idea to try to do that in a safer environment, like a networking event, because everybody's there to talk to each other.
I know. I mean, first of all, we met at a networking event. I would have never guessed that you're an introvert. Okay, people, just saying, like, we were like talking and right away we kind of talked, we were bonding, like it was like we knew each other. So yeah, she definitely has honed that skill, no doubt. I mean, and what makes you like, what is it? I mean, how did you get to be so fierce in like figuring it out? I mean, it's totally opposite of your natural self. What drove you to that?
Honestly, I keep telling myself, fake it till you make it.
Awesome.
The end of the day, honestly, nobody has it all figured out. Nobody knows exactly what they're doing all the time. Nobody knows, what the end of the tunnel looks like. Everybody's kind of just figuring it out as they go. And with that being said, I mean, you have to take the time and really think things through and do your research prior to, entering either a networking event or wherever job you start. I mean, you're not going to know everything right off the bat, and you're not going to have everything you need right off the bat. You're not going to have all the equipment to do the best job or to be, the best version of yourself or to get outside that comfort zone. But if you put yourself in situations that make you go outside your comfort zone, it helps you learn how to handle it better. So then the next time it gets a little easier, and so on and so on. So, I mean, I've been putting myself in, safe but uncomfortable situations the last couple of years. And, that has allowed me to be extroverted when I need to be and learn how to talk to people and really get to know them and be uncomfortable in that environment and be okay with being comfortable. I think that's super important, is like learning that it's okay to be uncomfortable and that, it's only going to make you better in the long run.
So would you say, if you had to give advice to your younger self or to these young women that are launching, what would you say? Would that be your favorite advice, or would there be something else?
Honestly, I would think that. I mean, I didn't get outside my comfort zone enough as a kid, and it wasn't really till college until I did. So I would say get outside your comfort zone, do things that make you uncomfortable, and really hone those skills, because it's only going to further you in the long run, and it's only going to make you more fierce and more prepared when you come up against challenges that may be really difficult and you might not know how to navigate. But if you know how to be uncomfortable and be okay with being uncomfortable, you'll figure it out no matter what it is. And that's really big, when you start your career, because you're constantly going to be in situations that you don't know, you don't know what you're doing, or you don't know how to navigate it. And if you're already okay with being uncomfortable, then you're going to navigate it way better than you would be if you just had, no confidence in yourself that you could handle it.
One of my favorite sayings is it was actually from the Bible. We are called to be bold, Joshua 1:9. And that's what I like to teach the girls that I work with too, is like being bold is the only way to really, it helps differentiate you. And to your point, like it's totally different. When you're in college, it's one thing, you're in this protected environment. And then all of a sudden you're thrown into this world where it's like, what the hell just happened? You know what I mean? It's like, oh my God, I need these new skills. So yeah. Awesome advice. Okay. I know another thing I learned about you recently is that you do a ton of volunteer work, which I love, because you really have a great balance figured out already. Like that's, so cool that you're giving back. So can you talk a little bit about some of the organizations that you're doing volunteer work for and why you do that?
Absolutely. So I volunteer right